name is Chris Randall, and I am 19 years old and from Madison, South Dakota in the United States of America. And I'm the owner and operator of realrawresults.com. And basically my passion and my drive is helping people get fit and healthy and at the same time doing what's best for the planet and everyone else involved.
Okay. Well, I would like to hear your story. So could you tell me about your life before? Like, what did you eat, what did you do, and how did you feel?
Yeah. I used to be severely obese. I used to weigh over 320 pounds, or about 146 kilos. And I used to have severe chronic acne all over my face and body. Severe asthma. My nose and sinuses were so congested that I really couldn't breathe through my nose for the first 16, 17 years of my life, and high blood pressure and chronic fatigue and several other undiagnosed conditions, I'm sure.
Wow.
And that was all by about 16 years of age. Wow. And so my childhood wasn't the happiest one. Not quite as vibrant as I could have been. But and so I lived basically the standard American lifestyle for the most part. I was eating my diet. It's typical Midwestern fare. Lots of pot roast on Sunday, mashed potatoes with lots of butter, sour cream, lots of dairy, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, maybe fish for an occasion with lots of butter. Typical kind of American sort of fare. Things that people don't think are that bad necessarily, or there really are any cause for concern. And it definitely, needless to say, wasn't quite adding up for me. It wasn't taking me where I wanted to go.
Okay. And what about medication-wise? Did you take anything? Medication-wise,
I was on severe, just ridiculous amounts of medications from birth, basically. I had lots of surgery all throughout my childhood for my sinuses, and I had my tonsils removed when I was around 12 years old, and my adenoids removed twice when I was a baby. They grew back, and so lots of antibiotics all throughout that, and other types of drugs, allergy drugs, just the list just goes on and on, dozens of them all throughout my life. Acne medications, again, the list goes on. Really? One of the worst that I was on being Accutane, which some people might be familiar with, and none of them really did it for me. They all seemed to just kind of cover up the symptoms and not really address the cause and really get rid of what I was trying to get rid of. And really ultimately just not working for me. So.
Right. And what did you do, like, from then on?
Yeah, well, I just kind of decided, it just kind of came to a point where you just kind of had to look in the mirror and look where you're at right now and be honest with yourself and, like, you know, what I'm doing right now really isn't taking me where I want to go. I want to be fit and healthy. I want to be able to run around and not get tired. I want to be able to play with other kids. I want to be able to go swimming and not be embarrassed about how I look or not be on all these medications. I just want to be fit and happy and healthy and like everyone else wants to be, or everyone seems to be. And so I just decided, you know, if doing what I've been doing all this time didn't take me where I wanted to go, it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep doing what you're doing and expect different results. And so I decided to do something different. And I looked at what I was putting on my plate, and I knew that had to be a huge connection between what was causing all my problems. And so...
How old were you?
I was, at that time, I was about 16 years old. I got started. That was kind of my tipping point. That's when I weighed the most. It was well over 320 pounds.
Wow.
And so I just kind of started making intuitive changes in my diet, like what made sense. And so I started cutting out and severely minimizing most meat, cheese, dairy, animal products, eggs, and started limiting those and the amount of fat that I was in my diet. And without even knowing any background in science or nutrition or anything whatsoever, just doing what made sense. And so I started basing my diet on low-fat plant foods, basically, like rice, potatoes, pasta, squash, corn, and things like that, and just started basing my meals on that versus basing it on meat and then greasy potatoes.
And from there on, how did you end up in the raw food diet?
From there I got on to, it was kind of a transition to, then you find out, you know, like, oh, maybe vegetarian is a good idea for your health. And then, oh, you know, maybe vegetarianism isn't quite all it's cracked up to be. Let's look at a completely plant-exclusive diet, a vegan diet. And then from there, it was just kind of, oh, wow, you can just eat raw foods and feel amazing. That's insane. How can you do that?
Yeah.
But then from there, just kind of finding that, you know, what made sense and what seemed easy and got you the best results. The most results on, the most return, the least amount of effort, basically, is.
And what results have you had since then? And
from there, after I found the raw food diet, a low-fat, raw vegan diet, or 80-10-10 style diet based on fruits, followed by smaller amounts of vegetables and nuts and seeds, all of my acne problems are gone. Especially once I gave up dairy products, and especially once I got just on fruits and vegetables. No allergy issues whatsoever. I used to have severe seasonal allergies as well, and none whatsoever now. Not on any more medications for allergies, anything like that whatsoever. My high blood pressure is gone. It's down to normal range, and I basically have just insane amounts of energy, you know, all throughout the day, and and I can go all throughout the day and fall asleep easily at night, and I just have, you know, the best feeling I've ever had in my entire life, and it's just every single day is just such a joy.
Wow, amazing. So do you have any last good advice for somebody who wants to do this?
My best advice for people who want to get started on a raw food diet and succeed on it, that's the big thing. Anyone can do a raw food diet, but it takes knowledge and determination to succeed on it. Definitely know what to do the first time and do that, versus getting bad information from people who really aren't consistent with what they do, or something that really just doesn't make sense and really doesn't work, but it might sound good or look good on paper. And so the best thing to do is to take the advice from the people who have what you want and who are getting the results that you want, who have the energy and who have the fitness and whatever it might be. And so the best thing you can do is just do what makes sense. And when you do, you know, when you follow what seems right in your heart and what makes sense in your head, you know, it's hard to argue with that, because a lot of people just get so far away from that. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up with what your heart says, and they're pretty far off base. And so do it right the first time. Eat enough fruit, eat your fruits and vegetables, and don't get caught up in any quick fix schemes or superfoods or super dudes trying to sell you anything crazy. You know, it really just all starts from taking good care of yourself and, you know, getting your food off the trees and out of the ground. That's really where it's at.
Thank you so much.
So, yeah, thank you, Louise.